What's good, y'all? It's one and only King Cow 516 live in the mix, and this is the Swiss Flames podcast. Be sure to check out the website, www.swissflames.com. Hit us up on Twitter, @SwissFlames. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Definitely appreciate the support. I want to dive into the John Wall situation with the Houston Rockets. Before the year started, we heard reports about the Houston Rockets and John Wall are coming into agreement. John Wall is going to be sitting out. He still will be practicing. He'll be behind the scenes. He'll be traveling with the team, but he won't be playing in the games. So this is still going on as far as that goes. But here's what I look at as an issue. All right, John Wall is being sat out. John Wall is on a max, basically, contract. He's one of the highest paid players in the league, and John Wall, for most of his contract, has been hurt. So now that he's in a position that he can play, the only way John Wall can add value and try to get another great contract will be he has to play. He hasn't played enough to warrant another big-time contract. So it is actually vital for John Wall to be playing this season. He has 2 years left on his deal. So it's safe to say around the league, John Wall's value is not high right now. It's probably the lowest it's been in his career. Now, the only way for him to rebuild that, he has to play, and teams have to see John Wall play at the high level. So John Wall is in a rock and a hard place. He's been very professional about it. You know what I'm saying? You haven't heard much peep. Until recently, you've seen some stuff come out with him. He responded to a tweet where a guy was basically saying, hey, John Wall's, basically traveling with the team. He's there watching the game. And just paraphrasing, the guy was just basically saying, how does that benefit the Rockets or John Wall? And then John Wall said, he responded to that tweet, said he didn't dress. So basically for John Wall, sitting down doesn't benefit him at all. I mean, there's just no way around that, right? For the Houston Rockets, it's bad business for them to sit John Wall anyway, right? John Wall is the highest paid player on the team. He's completely healthy. He's not the biggest name player in the league, but he still has some kind of power in his name, right? So he could be good for marketing, right? Maybe to draw people to your games. But you're not using him at all. You completely send him down. So from that standpoint, it's bad business for Houston. But Houston right now, I understand what they're doing. They're taking a long-term approach. You see, Houston just drafted Jalen Green. He's the second pick of this past NBA draft. They got Kevin Porter Jr., so they want those guys to get as much playing time and experience this year because they decided to go through a complete rebuild. So they're building around those guys along with Christian Wood, right? So John Wall, because of the position he plays and because of what he makes, will demand starter minutes. And so him playing starter minutes will take away from these guys' development. That's the way Houston is approaching it. That's why they're willing to take the hit financially of keeping John Wall and not playing him. It is a big hit financially because most teams, if you have a player that's healthy making that much money, you're playing that player, right? John Wall's making over $40 million, okay? So you would be playing a player making that much money, and if they're completely healthy. But this situation, John Wall's completely healthy, and he's not able to play. On the other side to this John Wall situation, I got to think about it like this. John Wall probably really wants to play, right? Now, he's probably not going to try to stir the pot too much, right? Because he doesn't have power in negotiation in this situation because of the fact he's been injured so long. So he doesn't want to ruffle feathers to make his image around the NBA look a certain way, right? So I believe everything you see John Wall doing is just a business decision, right? But if John Wall doesn't get on the court and show his value, teams are not going to really want to trade for him. The only way I see John Wall being traded this year, remember, he still has 2 years on his contract. The only way I see him being traded this year is if some disgruntled superstar wants out and John Wall might be a part of a package to help salaries in some way. And that may be a way that Houston can offload, and maybe they can get back some young talent, some draft picks, some compensation along those lines, right? They're looking for the perfect package, but because of the situation, you know what I'm saying? If he was in his final year, I think it's more likely. But you really got to find a real good fit, and it has to be probably some kind of disgruntled player, and John Wall can move in that kind of package, right? So until we see that happen, I think John Wall is in a rock and hard place. He's stuck. You know what I'm saying? He's stuck. And, for the fact that he's healthy and he's been injured so much in recent years, it's got to really suck that now that you're healthy, you only get one shot in the NBA, and you're willing to play, but you can't play because you got to play nice with the team. You know what I'm saying? This is the flip side of the Ben Simmons situation. I understand the criticism of Ben Simmons of his choices of what he's doing right now. You know what I mean? But on the flip side, this is the opposite side of the spectrum. Even if you call last season with Blake Griffin, And the Detroit Pistons, Detroit wanted to trade Blake Griffin. They didn't want to risk an injury, so they sat him down until they could find something. They weren't able to find it, then they did a buyout. Same thing happened with Andre Drummond and the Cavs. The Cavs traded for Jared Allen. Then they decided, okay, we're going to move forward Jared Allen. He's eligible for extension towards the end of the season. So we like what we see from Jared Allen. So we're going to move off of Andre Drummond because Jared Allen's going to be our center of the future. So what happened? They don't want Andre Drummond to get injured. So they sat Andre Drummond. He sat down for a month. And then he gets they couldn't find a trade partner. So he gets a buyout. He goes on with the Lakers. The difference between those two situations and the John Wall situation is both those guys were in the last year of their contract. John Wall has 2 more years, and he's making way more money than both of those guys. So his value in his contract is going to be tough to move. So John Wall is in a rock and a hard place because I don't see this Houston Rockets being able to move off him anytime soon. Once again, unless a situation presents itself where you get some kind of disgruntled athlete and they can kind of hopefully maneuver John Wall in that package. And that might have to be like a 3-team trade. You know what I'm saying? So, with that said, that's the situation going on with John Wall. Let me know what you think in the comments of this John Wall situation. What are your thoughts? It's your boy King Cal 516 signing off, y'all. This has been the Switch Flame Podcast.